of a testimony. Amen. We're not going after a perfect world. And I'm going to tell you something. I better be careful. I'm trying to cut out your trouble. We're not going after a perfect world. And I don't expect anybody to be perfect in this building. And I want you to understand something. I ain't perfect. And just because I'm your pastor don't mean I'm any different than you. You're my brother and sister. You might have a different work to do. Come on, Brother Shane. You're fine, brother. Hit that light right there while you're there, buddy. Oh, never mind. I'll get it behind you. David, grab that over for me. I just got a different... Wow. Hi. Boy, I got a crowd. Look at that. I might have a different position than you. I might have even been serving the Lord longer than you. Might be older than you. But I'm no different than you. Amen? I'm just a mouthpiece. My position is not more important. I'm not bigger in the eyes of God. And I want you to understand, because I'm up here, it does not mean that I have reached perfection. It does not mean that I'm 100% sanctified, even though I desire to be, and daily God works with me. It just means I'm a servant. Amen? And I don't want you to put me on no pedestal. I don't want you to put me in a bigger category or nothing else. Ain't that right, Sister Barr? And don't feel bad if you flub up. I just ask you to have a little mercy on me when I flub up. Amen? Having said that, I would like for you to stand for the reading of the Word of God. Just one verse, not going to hold you long on your feet, but I do want to respect. I got a lot of verses to go through today, but this is our basis. We're talking about the 7th of the Declaration of Faith of the Church of God, that holiness is a standard for living. Amen? Next week we're going to be talking about the baptism of the Holy Ghost. But and if you ain't got it, I'd encourage it. But anywho, 1 Peter 1 and verse 16 very simply says, because it is written. So Peter's quoting from the Old Testament. Be ye holy. Everybody say those last 4 words. For I am holy. You may be seated if you can. Today, we're going to talk about the other side of holiness. Uh-oh, what? The other side of holiness? Or, y'all remember Rocky and Bullwinkle? Yeah. Remember that? And he always had 2 titles to every episode. You remember that? And so this is being the other side of holiness, or being water. What? Being water. You heard that? B-E-I-N-G, water. Like you need to be water. Okay? Now, that'll come about in a minute. So, here's the thing. When we think about holiness, and Brother Kyle's got the verses as I need them later on. That's the reason I sent you that, by the way. Okay? When we think about being holy, we think just simply that it's just how we live. Right? That's just, and us people that's been raised in it, we were talking about this in Sunday school a whole lot, Brother Scott. We think it's to do with the length of your shirt sleeve and the length of your hair and blah, blah, blah. And that's cool that people live that way. If that's what they feel to do, then by all means, pour it on it. I respect that. I honor them. The Lord broke me in a holiness church to finally get a hold of my soul. And so I thank God for those people that showed me that they lived not out of tradition, but out of a willing heart to serve God. And I thank God for them. And I love them. And they're my brothers and sisters in the Lord. And I would invite them to preach in my pulpit, and I would go worship with them in their churches. Amen. So I ain't digging on the standard of living. All right? I just want you to know that. But when we think about holiness, that's the only thing that comes to mind. It's just holiness. We just think that's how we look. And we think if we look pretty good on Sunday, Brother Shane, that we got it all worked out. Amen? But really, how we live is a fruit of keeping His commandments. Amen? Being holy or living holy on the outside is a fruit of keeping His commandments. So in other words, I'm not holy because I look holy. I'm holy because I keep His commandments. Amen? And by keeping His commandments, then I dress myself in modest apparel. By keeping His commandments, I separate myself from worldly actions. By keeping His commandments, I do those things. Amen? So that's what we often think, that if I'm going to be holy, then I've got to change the way I appear. I like what Shane and David said this morning. We're whitewashed on the outside. I can look holy on the outside, but on the inside there has to be a change. There has to be something on the inside of me, Brother Mike, that changes. Can I get an amen on that? So, I've got a couple of notes. You got to bear with me as I dig through them until we get into some of the meat of this. We keep His commandments, so therefore we have fruit of the Spirit and fruit in our lifestyle. The only thing we want when we see holiness is we want the fruit of the lifestyle. Amen? Because that makes us holy. But we were talking about this morning. We want to change our bodies. And we want to live in holiness at that. We want it just to reach the end of our fingertips, but we don't want it to go anywhere else. But that's not the way that works. When you have the fruit of the Spirit, and that is not multiple fruits, that is one big fruit with multiple layers. And if you got one part of that fruit, you're going to get all parts of that fruit. You ain't going to be just somebody who's happy, but you ain't got the other parts of it. You're going to get all parts of that fruit. And if you're holy, let me tell you something, you ain't got fruit on your tree just so it can look pretty.
Amen.
They used to think the tomato was poisonous. They called it like the love fruit or something. And they used to think the tomato was poisonous. And everybody would like hand them out on certain days. It was almost like giving out a heart or a rose, you know. It was cool. You had a tomato, but everybody thought that if you eat them, you died. Right? And what is the point of a big pretty red fruit if you can't eat the thing? Now, we're not talking about the Garden of Eden. Clearly, there's an exception to every rule. But, you know. But what good is that? So this dude finally got up there in the town square, and he got a tomato, and he hollered, we're talking like 1700s, and he got a tomato, and he hollered at everybody in this neighborhood, and they come around the town square, and he eat the tomato, and they all waited for him to die, but he didn't die. All right? I'm going to tell you something, guys. If I'm leading you by example, you're going to see me eat the fruit of ministry, and I'm not going to die. Amen. We're going to be able to not just live the standard of holiness on the inside, but we're going to have the fruit of the Spirit hanging full on our vines, and the world is going to eat of it, and the world is going to get a hold of it. And if I live in holy glory to God, Sister Kelly, there ain't no other option, but the fruit of the Spirit has to reach beyond the tip of my fingers, and it has to be where the world can get a hold of it. I don't have any other option but to let people eat of the fruit of the Spirit.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Praise your holy
See, we don't want to change because change is hard. I hate change. I'm not going to chase that rabbit. Just go with me. But let me tell you something. We're supposed to be like Him. Amen? He said, be ye holy as I am holy. What makes me holy is keeping His commandments. And if I'm keeping His commandments, then I am being like Him. Amen? Sanctification, as we've been talking, is how we get holy. Right? Sanctification is how we become holy. The Lord shows you you're wrong, you change what you're doing wrong. And like I love this analogy, but I don't know how ugly I am until I turn the lights on and see myself in a mirror. Amen? And then when I see how ugly I am, then I know what I got to do to make myself pretty. Most of us want to keep the lights off and act like we look good all the time. Amen? But let me tell you something, when you get close to a holy God, you recognize how ugly you are. Amen?
Amen.
Come on, you think about that for a minute.
Truth. Amen. Bless Him, Lord.
That's when I realize I need to be holy.
Hallelujah.
Hey, Holton. Holton. Holton.
Good job.
He looked at me. There you go, buddy. Thank you, Holton. Thank you, Landon. I appreciate it. I don't blame him. Listen, I was like a rat on acid when I was, I feel you. It's all right. It's part of it. Now, I want to talk to you about something real quick about being deionized water. Now, deionized water is a chemistry term. And get in there. Thank you. You can't sit on that, you break your tailbone. And if you take your tailbone, if you break your tailbone, you have to cut your monkey tail off. That's bad. Yeah. All right. Now, Deionized water is a chemistry term. You all have heard of distilled water. We know what tap water is. We know what bottled water is. We know what distilled water is. But how many knows what deionized water is? No. Okay, good. Here we go. Now listen. Tap water is just a step up from creek water. Let's say that we start out as creek water. Now, creek water in the Colorado Rockies may not be all that dirty, but when you're creek water in eastern Kentucky, it's not drinking water. Amen? It's probably not water you want to bathe in. And yeah, we get baptized in it sometimes, but even some of us who know what's in there think that's just a little bit sketchy on occasion. You know what I'm saying? We believe that we're sanctified and the Lord's going to protect us if we drink any deadly thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we climb in those creeks. Not because they're clean, Sister Barb. We know that they're... Well, let's say that you get saved, and that's a lot like becoming tap water. But I don't know about you, but tap water ain't real good. Amen?
Amen.
You with me?
Amen.
I ain't never found any tap water made by the city that was worth drinking. You got me? It had a strong chlorine taste to it. It was a little bit over-religious, if you want to call it that. You couldn't hardly stand it because it was too clean. You got me? It's almost like drinking pool water. You ever been self-righteous? Boy, I didn't even see that one coming out of nowhere. Glory to God, that'll preach right there. We might have to dwell on that. I knew this guy one time, and I said something about church, and he said, yeah. He said, my family will go through religious phases. He said, one of them will get saved, and he said they'll try to get everybody else saved, and then the next thing you know, they're back out in the world. They had a religious phase. They were being tap water. But see, if you want to go a little beyond tap water and you get to the point where the world can actually do something with you, then you get sanctified by the Lord, you run through a grid of water filter, and then you become bottled water or filtered water. And you know what that means? That means you got rid of some more of your dirt, you got rid of some more of the other things that are in there, you got rid of your self-righteousness, and you're actually pretty useful. But here's what the thing about water is. We call it water, but water is not just water. Because water, as we know it, is H2O, right? Two hydrogens and this oxygen molecule that's all put together. But when you get into creek water, tap water, and bottled water, there's all kinds of other things in there. There's magnesium and a little bit of calcium, and they got some sodium in it, some chlorides, and that's actually what kind of makes water taste good, is that little bit extra. And anyway, you've got the extra stuff in there. So even when you're filtered, you're not completely pure. So you go up a stage to distilled water. And distilled water has pretty much all the bad elements out of it, but still is not 100% pure. Distilled water is good because you can do things with distilled water that you can't do with other water. You can sterilize things with distilled water. Right? You can use distilled water, it won't give you kidney stones. Right? Because most of the other bad stuff is pulled out there, the heavy elements that are in there. So distilled water is good, right? But then what's deionized water? Deionized water is 100% H2O. Somebody ought to get a hold of that right there. Deionized water is what they use for chemical experiments. Deionized water is what is used when you don't want nothing else but the pure thing. With no deviations and no variations, it is deionized water that is a step above distilled. There is no impurities. There is nothing else but hydrogen and oxygen in deionized water. I really shouldn't have to go any farther. Everybody ought to go home. Right? Because my goal is to become deionized water.
Yes, amen.
My goal is sanctification.
Hallelujah.
My goal is to keep the commandments of God. My goal is to be holy.
Yes.
Oh, glory. My goal is to be pure. My goal is to lift up holy hands to God. My goal is to lift up clean hands. My goal is to be purged, and not only and washed in the blood, but purged in the fire of my walk with God. That way that I become not just distilled and not just filtered, glory to God, but that I become deionized, where there is no impurity on the inside of me. Oh, glory to God. Somebody ought to hear it. And I don't look like the world. And I don't act like the world. And I don't think like the world. And I certainly don't love like the world. And I don't hate like the world. Glory to God. But I act like, and I act like my God. And I look like my Jesus. I need to be deionized from the world.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Pure
Have your way, Lord.
I got to be holy.
Glory.
I got to be holy. And if I'm being holy, it don't just mean that I'm sitting on a jug in a shelf looking pretty.
Amen.
I can have a bottle of deionized water all I want, but until I do something with it, Brother Mike, it don't do me no good.
That's it. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen. Blessed
Boy, we
Lord.
might have to meddle. Brother Caleb brought me a soapbox. He made me one. He sent me a picture. He brought it to church, and he needs to bring me a soapbox. Amen. The way I can stand on it. I'm guilty. Hey, Lord, here we go. I'm having to confess myself, Brother Scott. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of being bottled water. I don't even know some days that I'm distilled. I'd like to think that I'm up to being distilled, but I don't know, Brother Ralph. And on my really good days, I'm probably just tap water. I've been on the wagon, so I don't know that I'm creek water, but that ain't no boast, because to tell you the truth, I probably just stink anyways. Amen? I don't want to be self-righteous. I'm guilty. You say, well, you're guilty of sin? I'm guilty of one thing. If I ain't guilty of a lot of things, I know I'm guilty of at least one. We'll not talk to them, Missy. Don't open your mouth. We're not going to focus on my flaws, honey. We don't have that kind of time, baby. We got a minister to meet at 2 o'clock. I got to get out of here. Amen? Not really. Well, I do, but I ain't worried about getting out of here. Listen, the part that I want to focus on is the fact that I fail in sharing the fruit of the Spirit. It's not necessarily that I fail in being bottled or distilled. I don't believe I'm perfect, so I can't call myself deionized. But it's not that I fail in being bottled or distilled, but it's the fact that I fail in sharing that holiness, that fruit, that gift with somebody else. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
You want to know why the KKK and Antifa, whoever the blazes that is, and the other alt-right and the white nationalists and the skinheads, neo-Nazis, whatever, fascists, you pick one. You want to know why that they're crawling around Charlottesville? You want to know why that there's counter-protesters on the other side that have just as much hate in their heart as they do, as the white nationalists do? You want to know why that a crazy white nationalist drove his car into a group of counter-protesters? It's because me and you as Christians has not shared the fruit of the Spirit with the world. We are guilty because that the world was thirsty and we had it. We had what they needed. We had a puriform and deionized water running through our veins, and we kept it in our churches, and we kept it in our hearts, and we wouldn't even let it rise in our homes, and we let it take prayer out of the schools, but that was bad, but we took it out of our homes long before we took it out of our schools, or it would have never made it to get it out of the public school. You might as well say amen, whether you like it or not.
Amen. Bless him, Lord. Amen.
We had it, and we squandered it. So now we've got this mutated, watered down, somewhat nasty tasting bottled water.
Have your way, Lord.
If we're lucky, we got a few distilled in the crowd.
Have your way, Lord.
Amen?
Yes.
Boy, I didn't know I was going to preach on holiness like this.
Bless him,
Let me tell you something. I don't care about your tattoos. That's between you and God.
Amen.
I don't care about your hair length. That's between you and God. I really could care less about how much makeup you paint on. That's between you and God. Amen? Heard one old lady broke her foot, said her eyelashes fell off and broke her toes. Amen. I'm joking. I'm joking. Brother Dallas Alexander, when a lot of the holiness over home still didn't believe in women wearing makeup, Brother Dallas Alexander come down and preach. He said, I think every old barn needs a good coat of paint. And them boys didn't have anything to do but amen him. You know, what are you going to do, right? Wasn't long all the women was wearing makeup. It's all right. I'm not offended by makeup. I don't care about the size of your earrings. You're irrelevant to me. The mass majority of the time, I don't really care what you're wearing. You got to have some things covered. I don't want to see them. Amen? And if I do want to see them, that's my problem. But you still shouldn't be having them out. Amen? But I don't care about what you're wearing. It's irrelevant to me. But I care about how you're loving. I care about how you're feeding.
Yes.
I care about how you're getting thirsty people not thirsty.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
Oh, somebody ought to get hold of that.
Amen. Yes.
Listen. Galatians 5, 19 and 24. 19, 5, 19 and 24. There's several places in here that's really funny because the Lord lists, as Paul writes, He lists not only the bad, but He lists the good. Amen? We read these in Sunday school. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. That's pervertedness. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like. In other words, I ain't done, but I'm going to quit writing about it. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past. In other words, I've told you at least twice, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
You say, Sean, are you saying that I can be saved and go to hell? You can split it wide open. Without a parachute. No air brakes. You're going down in a blaze of glory. For the form of godliness and denying the power thereof.
Amen.
Glory. I like what old Brother Tony Landon said. He said there's a lot of tongue-talking Christians are going to hell. Amen?
Amen.
Because we got dirty water.
Amen. Have your way, Lord.
Let me tell you something.
Bless him, Lord.
I don't care if you come in here with your hair down to your waist and your sleeves down to your wrists and your skirt down to your ankles. You can still just be big of a sinner as me if I got tats up both legs and both arms.
Amen.
Come on.
Amen.
I might get me a purple mohawk. Shaved down both sides. Amen? Come on. Would you listen to me then? Probably not. I probably wouldn't listen to myself, but that's not the point of the story. Amen? The point of the story is we're so caught up in what we think they ought to look at, we can't look at what they're doing. You want to know why I showed you Todd White? Because Todd White has dreadlocks that look like they need to be cut a long time ago. But Todd White is feeding people the fruit of God. Todd White is praying for people in Walmart. Todd White is praying for a Wiccan. That's a witch, in case you didn't know. A Wiccan, a Druid, and he's feeling the power of God. Heal his foot. He laid his hand on his chest. The more he got lightheaded, that's the power of God. Somebody ought to hear it. I don't care about what the outside looks like. I want you inside to be alive and on fire for God. I want God to clean your inside, and then He'll take care of your outside. I'm a reverse fisherman. Most holiness preachers are. We like to clean them before we catch them. Amen?
Amen.
I don't want to get on that.
Listen, Lord.
It's Lexi. But the fruit of the Spirit is this. Now I want you to listen. I said this a while ago. I want you to hang on to this. He didn't say the fruits of the Spirit. He said the fruit. The one. That connotates one. Everybody say one. One. Hey, you are with me. Look at that. One fruit. Listen, I get a hold of an apple, and there's a peel, and there's meat, and there's a core. I get a hold of an orange, and there's a peel, and a bunch of different wedges. Amen?
Amen.
And then there's seeds. Oh, heaven's sakes, let's be careful. We got seeds inside the fruit. How mercy.
Hallelujah.
Glory to God.
Glory.
I'm going to tell you something. You can be the biggest tree in the apple orchard, and you can have the biggest branches. You can have the biggest girth at your base. You can have the biggest boughs and the most leaves. You can be the greenest. You can shed less leaves than everybody else in the fall. But glory to God, if you ain't making apples, then all that is simply for naught.
Amen. Hallelujah.
You don't come to me and you don't tell me about holiness. When you tell me about a standard of living and you leave off touching people with your gifts.
Amen.
You cannot, listen to me. You say you're angry. I don't know. It's the Spirit of God. I'm just broken.
Blessing God.
You cannot come to me and declare your holiness and leave off ministry.
Amen.
It cannot happen.
Amen.
It is impossible. Everybody say impossible.
Impossible.
For you to be holy before God and not sharing the fruit.
Amen.
Holiness don't come that way, right? I can't buy a car without tires. I can't be what God needs me to be and not have fruit. I can't be holy and not have fruit. It just does not happen. Amen?
Amen.
We like to focus. We like to focus on the living part. But we don't want to focus on the ministry part.
Amen.
And I'm going to tell you something. Possession is 9/10 of the law. My suspect is ministry is 9/10 of holiness. Ooh. Oh. I don't know if they went well there, Brother Shane. They got a little tight. Anybody got some oil we need to lube that up with? Because that just wrenched down right there.
Bless him, Lord. Hallelujah.
Got a little, my knee even tightened up on that just a little. Just joking, it really didn't. Amen. But the fruit of the Spirit is love. Everybody say love.
Love.
If you ain't got love, the rest of it don't matter. Amen?
Amen.
Love is also known as charity. Amen?
Amen.
Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there what? Is no law. And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and the lusts. Uh-oh. Did you hear what another byproduct was of having fruit? You kill that part too. Ain't no bitter fruit on a good fruit tree.
Amen.
Woo! I didn't intend to be in Galatians that long, but that's all right. Ain't no bitter fruit, Sister Tony, on a good fruit tree. Amen? You can't get bitter water and sweet water out of the same well. It don't happen. Out of the mouth flows the abundance of the heart. So when you're selling your Big Mac back across the counter at the Mickey D's guy, there's your fruit. Here's your sign. Amen. Sister Kelly's poking Brother David over here. We'll have to lay hands on him.
Don't do that.
I usually pick on Brother Bill. Maybe I'm going to pick on Brother David now. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I've never seen David get angry over anything like
I had
that.
pickles on it. I didn't throw it. I just said the thing. Hey, it's wrong.
Nothing wrong with that. Amen. As long as you say bless her heart, it's okay. Everybody say amen. Ephesians 5:9 says this. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. Now we're talking about being holy, and being holy means we have fruit. But the fruit looks like that right there. Now the fruit looks like also in Galatians 9, or in Galatians 5, but if you want to sum up what the fruit is, it's right there. It is goodness and righteousness and truth. Goodness and righteousness and truth. That means I can't tell you no white lies, and it means if I love you, I will tell you the truth, and I'll tell you the truth in love. Amen? It also means in righteousness that not only that I conduct my own life in righteousness, but I conduct my business in righteousness, and I conduct my ministries in righteousness. In order and in decency. Amen? And it also means that there's goodness involved. It's not self-serving. It's not self-centered. It's not self-wanting. If I got a ministry and it ain't serving nobody but the church, then it probably ain't much of a ministry. Can I get a...
Amen.
We have a women's carpet cleaning club at the church. They clean the carpet every Wednesday, whether it needs it or not. What's the point, man? We have a prayer meeting, which really should be translated gossip meeting.
Amen.
Because he won't talk about what you're praying about for 20 minutes before you pray about it too. Amen?
Amen.
I'll just tell you, Brother David needs prayer. I'm going to pick on him now. All right? You and them pickles. Brother David needs prayer. I'm just going to tell you, I seen him the other day down at McDonald's, and he had pickles on his hamburger. And I want you to know that he sailed his plumb back all the way to the back line back there where they were putting the hamburgers together, and it flew everywhere. And, you know, he was angry, and his face turned red. Just didn't look a thing Christian like at all. And somebody says, yeah, we'll have to pray for him. Lord bless him. What in the world? You know what I'm saying? How is that? How is that? That is even... No! That's like getting a green apple. I like green apples, don't get me wrong. But it's like getting a green apple. It does you absolutely no good and probably cramps your stomach if you eat enough of it. Amen? You with me? I tell you what, I seen that Brother Sean, he's hateful to his kids at home. I'm picking on myself, David, that way you don't feel bad. I'll pick on Lisa in a minute. I thought earlier I'd pick on Lisa. She's mad at her family, so we'll pick on Lisa.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You left that at the altar. Do you want to go pick it up for a demonstration? I'm totally just kidding. Totally just kidding. Amen. I've seen Brother Sean at home. He's hateful to his kids all the time. I don't know how in the world he calls himself a minister of God, be hateful to his kids. He just fusses at them. They can't never do nothing pleasing. He makes them do all kinds of work. And I'll tell you, he preaches good, but now I just don't like the way he runs his household. And somebody says, yeah, we have to pray for that. A prayer meeting, that's a gossip session. You can do that on the telephone. Don't defile the house of God with it. Amen. See, if you got a ministry, if you got fruit, it's going to be in goodness.
Yes, amen.
Ain't no malice, ain't no bad, ain't nothing else tied up in it. Amen.
Amen.
Your fruit. Everybody say your fruit.
Your fruit.
I'm not talking about my fruit. I'm talking about
My fruit.
your fruit. I ain't preaching to myself now. I am. My fruit, your fruit, my fruit better look like that right there. Amen?
Amen. Yes.
Romans 6, 19 through 23. I'm going to blaze through this real quick. I speak after the manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh. Your body is sick. Remember that in Sunday school I said sometimes I pray, Lord, my flesh wants this, but I don't. Amen? From the infirmity of your flesh. For as ye have yielded your members servants to uncleanness and to iniquity unto iniquity. So in other words, you give in to sin and have committed sin. Amen?
Amen.
Guess what? You ain't holy no more. Even so. Now. Okay, fine. You messed up. But now, yield your members servants to righteousness. What? Unto holiness. You have an advocate with the Father when you do err. Lord, forgive me.
Amen.
I messed up.
Yes, amen.
For when ye were the servant of sin, ye were free from righteousness. Well, boy, I tell you what. Let me just put that in a very simple term. When you are sinning and not living a holy life, then there ain't no righteousness in you. When you're living a sin, you ain't just a tree with leaves, you're a dead tree. Amen? Ain't no life in you. What fruit had ye in those things whereof ye are now ashamed? You had fruit as a sinner, but now you're ashamed of it. For the end of those things is death. I said to somebody the other day, I said, let me ask you something. And I don't do things like this. The Spirit of God got a hold of me. I usually ain't got this much backbone. Preaching on myself. I said, let me ask you something. I said, do you want to be like, and I started calling out family members. No. I said, then why are you acting like them? It was one of those interventions. And this ain't no boast on me. Please don't take it that way. But it was an intervention like Missy. I said, why are you acting like them? I said, you tell me that you want this and that and this. I said, but your actions prove otherwise. And I said, your actions speak louder than words. I said, unless you want to be what they are, then you're going to change from where you're at.
Amen. Amen. Yep.
Period. Space, new sentence. I know the way to crack it up. It's the death. Let me ask you, why are we sinning? Guys, what's out there? What do you want? Why? What's in a pill? What's in a drink of alcohol? What's in a drug? What's in sex? What's out there that you want that is worth losing your soul and burning for hell? You want to know what it feels like? Come up, I'll get a cigarette lighter, and I'll set you on fire after church, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It's what my sister said about burning herself in the iron. She said it's just reinforcement. I don't want to go to hell. Amen? One of the boys in youth group was trying to iron something one day, and he picked up the iron and put it to the side of his head to see if it was hot. I don't know why he had the phone in one hand. And so I guess instead of, letting go and doing that, he done this to see if the iron was hot, and he accidentally touched his face, and he screamed. He said, "Oh!" He said, "Why do I do these things to myself?" And why do we sin? Why do we do these things to ourselves?
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
Tangent. But now, being made free from sin and become servants of God, or to God, ye have your fruit unto what? Holiness. And the end everlasting life. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. 2 Corinthians 7:1 says this, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit.
Amen.
See, if it was only the way I looked, Brother Shane, it would have stopped right there and it wouldn't have said of the flesh and spirit. It would have just said all filthiness of the flesh. Perfecting holiness in the fear of God. But no, it said flesh and spirit. Meaning not only is there a change on the inside of me, but there's fruit that comes from my bowels that the world must eat of. I cannot again be holy unless there is fruit in my life.
Amen. Amen.
That's the other side of holiness. The only side we know, Brothers Mike, is how we're supposed to live. But how we're supposed to live is not just the way I dress myself, but it is the way that I feed the people around me.
Amen.
Oh wow, man, I got a lot of verses. We got to hurry. Ephesians 4:20 through 32. Well, that's a lot. Hang on, I'm going to read fast. I'll try not to mess it up. But ye have not so learned Christ, if so be that ye have heard Him, and have been taught by Him, as the truth is in Jesus, that ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man. In other words, you put off your old stuff, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts. If you know Him, then you put that off. And be rewarded in the spirit of your mind, that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in what? Righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands, the thing which is good, that ye may have to give to him that needeth. If the Lord has done a work on the inside of you, Brother Mike, you're going to want to stop doing the wrong so you can do right, so you can give to other people.
Yes. Amen. Hallelujah.
It is not by force that we have fruit. It is by choice.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Your dirty joke should be gone. But that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. He said in another place, they're going to take account of every idle word. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven you. In other words, He didn't just stop with telling you to live holy, but He didn't stop until He said, love holy. He didn't stop and say, living holy, but He said, you feed them and you take care of them. He didn't say just get rid of it, but He told you to love them.
Amen. Hallelujah. Glory.
I'm holiness. Amen. I'm a Pentecostal holiness.
Thank you, Lord.
Saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled and fire baptized. I got Jesus on my side. Amen. 1 Thessalonians 3:12 and 13. And the Lord make you to increase and abound in love one toward another and toward all men. What? Love one another toward another and toward all men. Amen. To the end He may establish your hearts. Oh, look, He can't establish my heart. I can't really be holy and unblameable in holiness until that I have been loving everybody else. Amen?
Amen.
In holiness before God, even our Father, at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ with all saints. We're about done. Hang on. 1 Thessalonians 4:3 and 9. I don't know if I've ever used this many verses. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor, not in the lust of that word, even as the Gentiles which know not God, that no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any manner, because that the Lord is the avenger of all such. As we also have forewarned you and testified, for God hath not called us unto uncleanness, but unto what?
Holiness.
Holiness. He therefore that despiseth not man, but God, who hath also given unto us his Holy Spirit. But as touching brotherly love, ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of God to love one another.
Amen.
If you ain't loving, you ain't got it.
Amen.
We have two more verses. Two, a set and a verse. We're about done. Titus 2, 1 and 8. 1 through 8. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith and charity and patience. The aged women likewise, that ye be in behavior as becometh holiness. Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, and to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers of the home, good, obedient unto their husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Young men, likewise, exhort to be sober-minded in all things, shewing thyself a pattern of good works and doctrine, shewing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned.
Hallelujah.
Oh!
Amen. Thank you, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Listen, they couldn't find nothing to condemn Jesus with. There's a song that Brother David Treadwell wrote down in Alabama. He said that he came unto man to prove that they could live right. They couldn't condemn him, Brother David Kilburn. They couldn't condemn the apostles when they brought him before the Sanhedrin. And one of them spoke up and said, had you rather? It wasn't a question. He said, we would rather obey God than man.
Amen.
They couldn't find no fault in them. That's how we're supposed to live our life. Faultless, blameless.
Amen.
If I'm keeping myself clean and I'm loving people, then Sister Carol, then I'm holiness. Amen?
Amen.
You ain't if you ain't loving people.
Amen.
That he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Shock and awe. Amen? Grab it. Just for a moment, grab it. I'm not naive enough to believe that you're going to get through life without people being mad at you. But you know what? If they're going to be mad at you, it better not be because you give them just cause.
Amen. That's right.
It better be because they're either lying on you or they just don't want to believe the truth. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And let me tell you something. If you got any pride in this church, you swallow it now. I'm trying to swallow mine. I'm not doing very good. Pray for me. If you got pride, you better swallow it up. Because I'm going to tell you what the Word of God says. The Word of God says, if I offend Brother Shane, I better go to him. It don't matter if I'm wrong or not. I better go say, Brother Shane, I didn't mean to offend you. I don't have to agree with Brother Shane. I don't even have to back up on my point if I'm not wrong in the Word of God. But I better go back and apologize and say, I want you to know something. I did not mean to hurt your feelings.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
And you know what? In like manner, if Brother Shane hurts me, he better come to me.
Amen.
And you know what? It goes another direction. If my feelings get hurt at Brother Shane, then the Word of God says that I'm supposed to go to him too.
Right. Amen.
Amen? I'm not supposed to go to Brother David and say, did you know what Brother Shane done to me? I want to tell you what.
Right.
He contradicted me in Sunday school. We'll have to pray for him in prayer meeting on this. Amen? Somebody ought to get a hold of that. Come on. You're out of line with the Word of God. Period. Space, new sentence. I ain't got nothing to say about it. You got a problem, you go to them that's got a problem.
Yes.
Amen? Somebody hurt your feelings? Go to them. I hurt your feelings, come to me. It's simple.
Amen.
You hurt their feelings, you go.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to come. If he comes to me, I apologize. You're out of line with the Word of God.
Yeah.
Amen? You're supposed to go to them if you know.
Amen.
Come on. Hebrews 12:14. We're just about done. Follow peace with all men. Well, boy, I could preach a sermon on that.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
You want to know why we've got 47,000 denominations? Because we ain't got peace with all men.
Amen. Amen. Preach it.
You want to know why some people ain't welcome in pulpits? Because we ain't got peace with all men.
Yep. Amen.
Listen to the last part of that. Oh, Lord. Follow peace with all men and what?
Holiness.
Which means not only you live right, but you treat them right. You treat them right. Everybody say right. You treat them
Right.
There we go. Thought I lost it. Without which no man shall see who? Oh, no. That means if I'm conflicted with everybody, I might have a problem. Ain't no might to it. I do. Come on. Amen.
Word. Amen.
Right. Amen.
We're going to do an altar call. Brother Kyle, get ready to get a song ready for us. Let me tell you something. It ain't about looking the part. And it ain't about shunning evil. You can't partake in evil. But it ain't about shunning evil. Heard of a church down in Alabama? Never been there? Maybe it ain't true. Maybe it ain't there now. But at one point in time, there was a church supposedly in Alabama, and they had a size of every dress in one of the back rooms. And if a lady wanted to come to the altar to get salvation, they would take her to the back room, make her change her dress if she didn't already have her own, take off all her jewelry, and wash off her makeup before she could come to the altar of God. Got a crack this moment. I can say that. It's in the Message Bible. Talk to Chuck. Talk to Chuck. Yeah, of course, forgive me. I shouldn't say things like that. But listen. That ain't, I can't shun people that way and get by with it. I got to love them into the kingdom of God. You say you're unorthodox. What else is new? I'm feeling a little rebellious. Y'all better pray for me. Have a moment. Listen, it's about loving your neighbor and living the part. It ain't just about shunning sin and looking the part. It's about loving your neighbor and living the part. Amen. There is a call to genuine holiness in the church of God. And not Cleveland, Tennessee Church of God. I'm talking about the church of God. There's a call to holiness, Brother Kilburn, in the church of God. Genuine holiness. Not one, Brother Mike, that looks at the length of my hair, but allows me and God to sort that out. But one that looks to the condition of my heart, and when I hurt, they hurt. And when I rejoice, they rejoice. And when I need intervention, they get down on their knees and they pray for me. Not one wrought with religion and gossip, but one wrought with love, forgiveness, and compassion. There is a call to true holiness. Not one of sheer judgment, but one of love beyond judgment. Somebody ought to get a hold of it. And you know what He's calling us to be today, my church? He's calling us to be holy. He says, be ye holy. Boy, how did we miss it, guys? Brother Kyle, you can go ahead and start playing that low in the background. Brother Kilburn, could you set that up for me, please? I just don't feel like turning my attention away. How did we miss it? How did we miss it, guys? How did we miss it? How did we think that holiness was simply a standard of living and we forgot the fact that we had to be loving people to be holy? It said, be ye holy as I am holy, and the holiness of God. And we just read all those verses out of the New Testament. The holiness of God is just not in the fact that He's separated from evil, but the holiness of God in part, a big part, is the fact that He loved us in spite of our evil. How did we miss it that we think that it was a standard of living in which we shut out people? How did we miss the fact that being holy was not about that, but it was about loving people the way God loves people? That's why He's pure and holy. My God is love. My God is love. My God is love today. He wants me to be holy. He wants you to be holy. He wants you to be clean and saved and sanctified and spirit-filled. But He wants you to be holy.
altar's open. Come on. This altar's open. Come on. Be holy.